good morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you're YouTube. Beautiful, beautiful morning here, so I decided for a change you're going to take the CBR to work, so first time I've seen that on this one this year. And I wasn't going to shoot many more vlog type videos, but I do have something. I know a lot of you like hearing and seeing updates on the ZZR 1100 on the race bike, and my goodness do we have an update for you. So this won't actually feature the ZZR as such, but it's just a little short video, this one, on some very recent progress. So we're racing last weekend. It was the STP Summer Nationals at Santa Pod. We'd made a few slight changes to the program on the nitrous. We've got a new nitrous controller in there. Nothing particularly big in that respect. But so we went out and did our first pass. I was riding the bike this particular weekend, and co-owner and teammate and friend Ian was on crew duty, along with another friend of ours, Josh, and another friend Owen. So our first pass yielded a fairly unremarkable 9.9 seconds, but we noticed that the nitrous never kicked in. So we had a look through on the software, trying to figure out what was going on, and we tried a few things we hadn't tried before. One of them was a first gear lockout, and basically what that does, it prevents nitrous from coming in first gear to allow you time to launch the bike, get it settled, get the traction sorted out before you start putting the happy gas in and everything going. And what happened is that relies on seeing the RPMs drop to know when it's shifted out of first gear and then start the program. Well, it turns out the gearbox in the ZZR has too close a ratio to actually allow that to happen. So as far as the computer's concerned, we never left first gear for the whole run, since no nitrous. 9.9 without nitrous though was very significant, because we have run one previous run on a 9.9 without nitrous, and that is a very significant number, because previously that was 10.2, 10.3 seconds easily. So the new engine's making good power. A few tweaks to the map, up the shift point by a couple of hundred RPM, and actually took a tiny bit out of the launch, and we went off to do the second pass. Now, we've always been lower midfield to bottom end of the pack, so if there's 8 bikes qualifying, we're probably going to be 7th or 8th. If there's, we're going to be, if we're 2 above minimum, or 2 above the lowest, that's a remarkably good qualifier for us. And we haven't finished last all season, which is a good start. So second qualifier comes round, and of course it's a hot day, so the normally aspirated bikes are suffering a lot anyway, but no one's running particularly competitive. Of course that does affect us as well, because most of the other bikes' engine air is still poor. Second pass comes in, felt like a nice launch. It didn't feel exceptional, but it's a nice launch, and I went through and it was very obviously different. As I'm going down the strip, the bike is utterly relentless. It's screaming through the gears like never before. So I knew it was a good pass. We were hoping for a 9.6. So I thought, if that's a 9.69, job done, mission accomplished, we move forward. I set up out the airflow, and normally just rolling the throttle off is enough to take all the speed off in the shutdown area. So I roll the throttle off, and I look over for the other guy next to me. He's nowhere to be seen. He's miles back. And as we're slowing down, eventually he comes past me. He's had a bit of a fun launch with wheelies and all sorts of things, but that's by the by. As we're slowing down, I then notice that the end of the shutdown area is coming up really quickly. Like, oh, I better do something about this quickly. So I actually had to brake reasonably hard towards the end of the shutdown area. It's like, well, never had to do that before. This is interesting. And as I pull back, and loads of people in the pits are giving me the thumbs up and smiling, and my teammate and co-owner comes up towards me with a bit of a wry grin on his face, shaking his head. So I look at him, pull my helmet off, like, oh, do we get the 9.6 then? Do we get into 9.6? Obviously we're looking for 9.5. So do we get 9.6? Thinking that was a 9.69, 9.70. He looks at me, he's like, no, 9.55, your number 1 qualifier. Wow, wasn't ready for that. So we were top of the tree. The third qualifying session of the day saw a very similar 9.59 run, with even more mile now, nearly 147 through the traps on that one. And yeah, so we finished the Saturday, qualified in number 1 position. That carries a bonus of 50 points. And just stunned. Really couldn't have hoped for that. So I went through, we had what's called a bye run in the first round, because as number 1 qualifier and 7 bikes, the bye gets the the uneven ladder. So there's only 7 bikes qualified, so someone has no one to race. That privilege goes to your number 1. Then out in the second round was up against a stalwart of the series, Rich Swotsky, who's won the championship many times. And again, we were trying to keep our expectations realistic. Richard got me off the line. He was quicker away from the line by quite a bit. We actually ran quicker than him. I had a poor launch, and the shift light was on because it was slipping the clutch before I knew what was going on. Just inexperience on our part, totally my fault on that. So I had to throttle off and throttle back on, and it still went 983, so it's flying. And by that stage, we were pretty low on nitrous as well. He beat me to the line by nothing. As we went through, I could see him back off because he didn't want to break out, and I was flat stick and going towards him at a hell of a speed, and we passed each other. I passed him at the finish line. As it was, there was about a metre difference at the finish, so he got through to the finals. But yeah, we lost out by 7/100 of a second when you consider reaction times as well. So massive progress, absolutely massive. We've gone from being the tail end to being the bike to beat in one weekend from a few clicks on a mouse. So there you go, success story, really pleased with that. If you like these videos, do hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to have more ZZR content coming up because we've got a few little minor changes. We're going to take some weight out of it. I've now got to go and do a day's work because without that, you can't have the toys. So hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.